everyone. Come on in. This is Act Now Live. I'm Dr. Natalie Phillips.
Hi, everyone. Happy Sunday. I'm Regeanie Corona.
Hello. So we are coming live on our episodes every week if you're tuning in, and we are excited to be here with you. I just wanted to go over some logistics before we start our show here. I'm going to put that up real quick. That is our YouTube channel. So again, if you are missing any of our episodes, we put it on YouTube. We also put it on Instagram, on IGTV. So don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you know when a new episode comes up. You can also turn on your or go to Instagram and follow us on Act Now Guide as well, because we will be there. Reg,
Yeah.
tell us about that.
Act Now. Wait, tell us about what? I'm sorry. I totally zoned out.
We're now available on Amazon.
Oh, we are now available on Amazon. Can you guys believe it? Oh my gosh. It's still so surreal for us, but you can go find our book now on Amazon. You can search for Act Now and it should come up, or you can search for Natalie's name or my name and it'll come up. You can get it either through Kindle, the Kindle version, or the paperback. And we are super excited.
Yeah, yay, I know. So exciting. I know. So it's been funny because technically our launch day was October 1st.
Last Thursday.
But it kind of went out a little bit early. So people were, seeing some of the different things that we were posting throughout the week. And you were actually able to get it a little bit earlier come launch day on Thursday. Both you and I were knee deep into different things that we were at this week that we're going to share about. But it was so crazy. And then I get home and people already have their books and they're reading it this weekend. So I have to put this up. I have to give a shout out. What we would love to do if you got your book already. Oh my gosh. So on the top left, I've got people reading their books with a dog in their lap. I've got people reading their books in front of the fireplace. I've got my friend Alicia posting pictures. You know, I went to volleyball today as well, and I had a mom come in with a book as well. So it's so crazy because I can't believe people already have it in their hands. It's so crazy. I can't believe it.
I know. And so it begins, the movement. We were already starting the movement. We were calling it a movement, but now it's really when it begins, right? Because people can get the book and start to read it, and they can look at what our challenges were and what we went through around taking action, and hopefully be inspired to go out and take their own action and to get engaged with us so that we can help give that accountability that's needed, that we know is needed, and join in on our community. It's really exciting.
Yeah. Hey, Mary, good to see you. So
Hi,
she says
Mary.
she received her copy as well today.
Oh,
awesome, Mary.
yay.
So there's these little things that are coming in, send us a little message, post it on your timeline. We'd love to see when you get your book, unwrap it, share your excitement with us. As you're learning, as you're reading, we also want to learn about that too. So tag us in anything that you want to. We're so excited. I do a little happy dance every time I get either a text message with someone holding our book, or I think another friend did a little story in her Instagram, and she was drinking coffee and she was flipping through the book. So it's so exciting to see. I still can't believe people actually have it in their hands or have downloaded on Kindle and they're watching it. If you're watching this, we do this show every Sunday, 3:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4:00 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And we're just talking about our book that was recently released on Amazon, and people are actually getting it in their hands this weekend, which is crazy. Also, if you guys want to, we would love it if you would put a review on Amazon for us. So tell us what you think, whether you're posting about it, taking a selfie with a picture with the book in your hands, or even put it up on Amazon as far as a review, and let us know what you think. I think every little bit helps. I love that everything that we are doing, whether, we have Reg and I have so many things down the line planned, but everything that we're doing with surrounding the book and some online courses and masterminds that we're doing 50% of what we're making, the profits, is going to go to an annual charity. So you're not only supporting us, but you're supporting a nonprofit organization or a charity that we're going to be donating our 50% of our profits to. So thank you guys so much. Every time you support us, you're actually making an impact even further. So I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, I am too. It's all about impact. You know, my life is about purpose and impact and serving, and that's my tagline. So the fact that we can use this book to serve others, to provide knowledge and help if people are feeling stuck, and then in turn, by them purchasing the book and anything else that we have coming down the pipe, they're actually having impact in the world because we are giving back. So that's really huge.
Yeah. Okay. So one more logistic here, Reg. Let's talk about the Action Takers Network. So why don't you explain about what that is? And I'm going to provide some links in our comments here.
So the Action Takers Network is a part of our community. What we started last month was this monthly opportunity to come together. And I don't want to hear any excuses. Doesn't matter if you're shy, doesn't matter if you're an introvert. It is an opportunity to come together with a group of like-minded people who want to see you win just as much as you want to win. And the idea is to come together and network and to have a community around accountability and really start to hone in on what is it that you want to do. So starting with, let me assess where I'm at and let me find what I want to do. And sometimes that means going deeper and looking at your why and your values and your beliefs, and then moving from there into how do I take my what? Because I tell my students all the time, you know, if they want to do something, they're like, yeah, but I don't know how to do it. It's like, let's not talk about the how, let's talk about the what first. Because when you know the what, then we can start to help connect you to the how and the who, the who's that are going to help you to get your what done. So the Action Takers Network, that's what it's all about. It's about coming together and helping to define those things for you and then helping to keep you accountable. So that you take action and get things done.
Yes, absolutely. So what I did was I just put in the links to register. So we want to kind of keep it to a minimum. So we're taking like the first, how many did we decide to do?
I think it was at 20 to 30, no
Yeah,
more
that's what I
than
was saying.
30.
I was like 20 to 30 people. We want to be able to provide value. And then we're going to actually split into groups, because the groups themselves is when you're going to spend time getting to know other people, like what Reg had said, the who. It's not just about Reg and I and what we did, but we want to start getting you connected to your who, right? And your person that you might be able to keep yourself accountable and some of the goals that you have to reach some of the dreams that you have as well. So that's what the Action Takers Network is. And I've put the links in there to register for these 3 upcoming ones, October 21st, November 18th, and December 16th. So it's the first, we'll go up to 30. Since we said 20 to 30, we'll go up to 30 people that are on there. And if you miss October, you can join in November, December. If you want to do all 3, just 2 of the 3, whatever you want to do, jump on and register. So they are right now Eventbrite links, and we will send you a link right before to join. And that would be our Action Takers Network that we're going to start doing every month.
And Natalie and I haven't talked about this, so this is new to her. I'm going to suggest that in the very next Action Takers Network session, that we do this exercise around why. This is something that I have done in the past. I do with clients and students of mine, but I found a tool through Dean Graciosi and working with him in his inner circle that I absolutely love. And it took me to a deeper level of my why. And so it's called the seven levels deep of why.
Ooh, I like that.
And so
Okay.
I think that
Let's do it.
Yep. And then the following month will build up on that with something else. And so the whole idea is to get you prepared for 2021 to take massive action. Because if you have had a dream and goals sitting inside of you and you haven't accomplished them, let 2020 be the last year that you go without accomplishing them.
Yeah, I love that. So, it leads into what both of us were busy doing. I would say, I always say the weekend, but technically it was like, for me, it was midweek to the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you've been busy. So I have actually been in Denver with an audiology boss conference. So it's people that are entrepreneurs. They own their own businesses in the world of audiology. It was it was one of the first, it was a hybrid conference. So we were initially supposed to be together, but of course, with COVID and social distancing, they had to limit it to under 100 people. So they took their 250 people that were registered and made a virtual conference, as well as the people that still wanted to come, but they had to keep it under 100 people and keep us separated and make sure that we were socially distanced. They were there in Denver. And so I was speaking at this event, and oh my gosh, I learned so much from some of the other speakers. I just learned so much from just being around other entrepreneurs, people that own their businesses. And, one of the things that I loved was that we learn and share together. That's one of the things that, yes, I was on stage, but there were so many other people that had so many good ideas and things to help each other out. That's one of the things that I love to watch, is people helping other people out to make their businesses better. So I had the opportunity, thanks to some of my friends there, to just talk a little bit more about, I talked about, as you were talking about 2021 and preparing to enter into 2021, it made me smile about how excited we all were when 2020 came around, and then all of this hit. And while I was speaking on stage, because I am a Marvel fan, I talked about 2020, the last 6 months being kind of like the blip, and I'm so excited to head into 2021 with a bunch of action takers, and this community that we're building, because I feel like now the blip is over, or the major, months of it, and to shape your mind of heading towards a growth mindset versus a limited mindset. A lot of us maybe have gotten frustrated over the time that we were forced to pause. And now it's time to take action. And it's now time to jump on this movement of, let's figure out what you want to do and let's head into 2021. So I was kind of smiling when you were saying that, because it is a preparation for 2021. Let's just say, okay, 2020 is, it was still a learning process, right? But definitely 2021, we want to help you guys get prepared. So that's what I did. Was I had a really fun time in Denver at actually an in-person conference. And what about you? What did you do over the last few days?
Wow. Well, I wasn't at an in-person conference, but I was at a conference. I attended what's called the World Summit Virtual with Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi and Brendan Bouchard and a number of other well-known speakers. And it was really powerful. I was one of, it's actually still going on, so I took a break so that we could do this show. I was one of over 8,500 people attending this conference, which is mind-blowing in and of itself. And it's like Zoom, not Zoom rooms, but they have groups of Zoom sessions. And then Tony Robbins has the studio that's built out where they can see all of us.
Wow.
And so the speakers were going to the studio live, and they were just surrounded by Zoom screens, these really large screens of everyone in Zoom, and they could see, and then they would put people on the screen. Really awesome. But there were some huge takeaways. And I thought it was so even more surreal that what they were talking about, get ready for this, Natalie, everything that they talked about aligned with what we talk about in our book.
Oh my God.
And it just confirmed for me that this is a movement, and this is a time where people are looking to take action. There's so much that has happened, and people have been stuck in self-doubt and fear and just letting their inner critics stop them. And so now is the time for that to stop, because there's so much to deliver into the world. There's so much that the world needs, and it comes from all of us. But that can't happen until we take action, until we, say enough is enough. I'm going to stop getting stuck in these places that I get stuck in, and I'm going to move past, and I'm going to do it in the face of fear, because fear doesn't go away. We've talked about that. So
yeah. And people that have posted our book and are talking about it, and they're already sending me messages about how, they're so in line with the way that we were thinking as well. So, when we jump on our weekly shows that we do here, we talk to each other, but we also want people to jump in and share what they're learning or what they're experiencing as well. So, with all of our shows as well, Reg and I want to make sure that we have some takeaways for you. So, as you're listening, if you had a great week, if you had a great month, if you had something that you learned, put it in the comments. We want to hear from you. We want to engage with you, celebrate your wins with you, whatever it is. And so as you're listening, as you're tuning in, we want you guys to be part of the conversation. So don't forget to put it in the comments so that we can kind of talk to you as well. So one of the things that Reg and I have talked about too, as a takeaway, would be this first takeaway. If you want to go after your greatest goals and dreams, you must be willing to be uncomfortable and imperfect and take imperfect action. So tell me what you learned over the past few days in this summit that you were in related to this.
So specifically, they use these words. You have to be willing to take uncomfortable action and imperfect action. So many of us get stuck in that analysis phase where, and really it's an excuse. It's something for us to hide behind. I need to spend more time researching. I need to figure out how to do the darn thing, right? But in reality, no one's perfect. And so therefore, none of the things that we do are perfect, and no one is looking for perfection, right. But there's many people looking for help. And so this knowledge industry is huge. It's booming. It's getting bigger, especially now when people are still working remotely. A lot of people are still recovering from all of the things that have happened with the pandemic. And so recognizing that you're going to be uncomfortable, and I used to always say, I still say it, and I didn't coin the term, but it's very true. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because I want to tell you, anyone who's listening or who catches this on the replay, your success, however you define success, whatever that is for you, your success is on the other side of your discomfort. Like, you have to look at it. It looks like a storm brewing out there, right? But you can't avoid the storm and get to your success. You have to go through the storm. So you have to look in the eye of the storm and recognize that you're going to get very uncomfortable for a minute. And that minute might be a long minute. But when you get on the other side, you're on the other side. And on the other side is whatever you've defined as that success for that particular goal or that particular action. In the same way with perfection and imperfection, it's going to be imperfect. And that's okay. But you've got to take imperfect action.
Right. And so actually, I was thinking about this takeaway point, and it's exactly what we experienced as well. So I was teaching on the stage just how to use video in your businesses to, increase some engagement and to reach some other people. And, I had another speaker that was on stage, our friend, Dr. Gozalia, that made all of us turn on your camera and actually go live right then and there for 30 seconds, and it was so interesting, the conversations that were going on afterwards, because going live, getting yourself on a video, doing these shows, things like that, I mean, when I first started as well, I was like, yeah, no, I don't want to be out there, and it would, because I was uncomfortable. I was not only scared, but I was very uncomfortable. And I felt like everything had to be perfect. So like what you're saying, uncomfortable and imperfect. I mean, I dealt with it, and talking to people after that exercise and even after my talk, they're like, I don't know if I can do it, and some of the things that I do want to encourage people, because I've been there and I've learned, is that just get out there. It's not going to be perfect, but the more you actually do it, I think the easier it gets, the more comfortable you get when you start to push yourself, like you said, through that storm, and it's not as bad as you might think. And even if you make a mistake, so what? You make a
It's
mistake and
okay.
you shift, and then you go around and you do it another way. That's what entrepreneurs do is, we're able to just go for it, execute, find the problem or identify it, right? Come up with a solution and then execute. And if it doesn't work, I mean, you may fail a million times, but it's that one time that you do, or that you are successful, that might make the whole difference for you, right? And to continue to take that action. So I am definitely a survivor and somebody who was very uncomfortable and wanted everything to be perfect, but it's not going to be, and it is okay. There's some
Yep.
authenticity in not being perfect, and learning through it. And I think that has only made me better to help others be the same way if they're going through what I went through as well. So I love that takeaway, that you've got to just keep moving, even though it's uncomfortable and even though it's not perfect.
Yep.
I love that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So takeaway number 2 of what it means to us to take action is what we were talking about. Let your inner hero be bigger than your inner critic. So yeah. So I'll have you kind of explain what that means to you.
So, we all know that we have an inner critic, right? Because we're constantly hearing the voice of the inner critic. And we talk about this. If you've got the book, it's in chapter 1 in mindset, and it's on page 27.
No way. You know the page?
I do know the page. It's on page 27 where we start to talk about the inner critic and the statistics around how the inner critic talks to us far more than any other thing that we hear in our minds. But you have to find your inner hero. We all have an inner hero. And this is one of the things that they concentrated on these last couple of days as well. I've heard Tony Robbins do this before, and he did it again. And it reminded me of how important it is, and to remind our audience of this. If you think about when you show up somewhere and you feel really confident, that person. There are times when you feel really confident, right? Natalie, I know you know her, and you have to look at that person who stands straight, holds their shoulders back, and feels confident, and give that person a name. Like for me, it's Reg the strategist, because Reg the strategist will walk in the room and like she knows, and she will start going through and and so when the inner critic shows up for me, I have to remind myself, nope, Reg the strategist has to show up.
Oh my
And
gosh.
when we can name our inner hero, then we start to call on our inner hero more. And there are things that you can do to kind of trick your mind, trick your body. Some of it involves your posture. When we're slumped over, you look at someone and you think, oh man, they must be having a hard day. But when you see someone in there, their shoulders are straight and their head's up high, there's a confidence that they walk in the room with. And it's an energy, right? So locking into who your inner hero is and making sure that your inner hero shows up more than your inner critic. And it doesn't happen overnight. It takes some time. But when you get accustomed to doing it, you find yourself moving into that role more frequently.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that. I didn't know you named a different character for yourself. I love that
Yes.
idea. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. So I don't know. I always get so giddy because I'm like, I thought I knew everything about Reg. I'm like, wait a minute, you have an inner hero like title? I was like, oh my gosh, I
I
love that. Okay,
do.
so what I want to share about this point, is a little bit different because I also want to point out that if you're not there in your mindset, about like, oh, I don't know if I can necessarily do that because I just don't believe in myself so much, right? Here's what worked for me is that, and we've talked about this before, is having the right people around you that will help you
Mm.
identify that inner hero and that inner critic, and put you in your place if you're being too critical. So I'm going to
Mhm.
explain this to you because I love it. So as I was preparing, and that's why we're doing this Action Takers Network, because I get so much out of Reg, it's not even funny, and I just want
And
to
vice versa.
I just want to share this about our friendship because I was able to turn it around. Okay, so this is the story that I wanted to share. So as I was getting ready for our talk, I was a little nervous because again, it's a topic that I kind of created, and I wasn't too sure if it was going to work. And another girlfriend of mine, Tiffany, who is a speaker coach, wanted me to practice with her. I mean, it didn't end up happening, but I was telling Reg on our call, I was like, I am so nervous about doing it in front of Tiffany and if she's listening, she just laugh. And of course, Reg calls me on it, and she's like, "Why?" And I kind of told her the reasons why, and I was kind of like skirting around the issue, and Reg just was quietly smiling. And then after I gave her my excuses, she's like, She's like, "No." She called me so on it. She said, "That is not why you're scared. You are scared because." Or uncomfortable because da da da, and blank, 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 and blank. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So I couldn't even fake it. I couldn't even, that's what I thought the reason why I was so uncomfortable, being able to practice. But Reg literally just called me on it. She's like, no, that is not the reason why. This is the reason why. And it basically like just shocked me. And I was like, oh my God. That's so right. I was just thinking it was something else. So the funny thing was, on my way home from Denver, I had brunch with a really good friend, and we were talking about some things. And she was telling me how, in fact, I invited her to an Action Takers Network call, which she did sign up for finally.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but it was funny, and I told her this at the time too, because I was telling her something, and she goes, "I don't know." She's like, "I'm just not comfortable with networking because," and she told me her reasons why, and I did the Reg on her. I was smiling and I was listening, waiting for her to be done, and then I called her on it. I was like, "No." I said, I said, "You know why I know that that's not the truth is because I was right where you're sitting, and I don't think that's the right answer." I said, "I
Mm.
think this is the reason why." And she was, again, I saw that look that I had last week, and she was just like, you're right. She's like, "Oh my gosh, you're right." So, if you don't have that ability to stop yourself, and you're just putting yourself down on that inner critic part, and you don't have that ability to switch all of a sudden, stand up straight, name your, hero, you might not be there yet, and that's okay. But
It
if you're
is.
not there yet, have the people around you that will help you identify that inner hero and that inner critic. And our hope is that, who knows, maybe in this Action Takers Network that we're trying to provide these environments for, that you will find that person
Mhm.
that will help you identify it. Now, it's not going to be overnight. You're not going to meet somebody and they're not going to be able to tell you, no, you're not being honest with yourself. But it might
Mhm.
take time. Like with Reg, I mean, we've known each other for 4 years. And it's
Mhm.
not only that we've known each other, but we've committed to go deeper with each other. So it does
Mhm.
take time to make that connection and to make that relationship happen. But I'm just saying, if you're not strong enough yet to be able to do that, don't worry, because you need to start surrounding yourself with people that are going to help you. And even if I am strong and confident, sometimes I still need that, like, slap in the
Yes.
face and say, "You are not being honest. That is not true,"
Yep.
because they're giving me that, what their thoughts are, with love. It is not
Yes.
trying to put me down. It is basically saying, no, we need to stay honest with ourselves, and we need to call it what it is. But you
Yep.
also need to understand that this is not right. I think your
Yeah.
process is not right. And I know that I can accept that from somebody like Reg, because I know that all she wants is to see my success. Right. So I
Yeah.
wanted to point that out as well.
Yeah, it's really important to surround yourself with those people who will lovingly help you to bring these things out and deal with them, right?
Mhm.
So, I still go through, my inner critic will show up, and then I will feel like I can't do something. I just recently I did some inner work and dealt with issues I had with going live myself.
Mhm.
And literally, I am not kidding you. When I say that when I sat down and did the work, I had some quiet time. It was like that, that it shifted. And all of a sudden, that fear that I had about showing up on live, I mean, I did a live and I talked about it. And I talked about how when we do our live, it's fine. Like that's different because we're together. But when it's me, and when
Mhm.
there are things that I'm sharing with my audiences, like I just didn't want to do it. Hi, Emily, welcome. I didn't want to do it. And then all of a sudden, I did the work that actually took me to what the deeper issue was. And
Mhm.
it was a childhood thing. And when I tell you that
Wow.
it broke free the issue that I was having with going live, it did that, but it also broke free everything else around my messaging, around my branding. It cleared up so much for me. And now it's like, yeah, I don't have an issue going on live. You might get
Wow.
too much of me going on live now.
Yeah, but that's a good point too, that sometimes it's a little bit deeper. And if you can kind
Yeah.
of break that and do the work, right? Like you actually took time to do the work, the hard
Yep.
work to dive deeper to figure out maybe what was the root of being uncomfortable
But I
and
couldn't
doing that.
do that without, I was able to do that because I sat in on a live session with Dean Graciosi and he
Ah,
called us on something. And I was like, well, that doesn't apply to me. And then I had to stop and think, well, wait, yes, it does. And so I backed up and I
mhm.
stopped and and Danelle Delgado is another person who has called me on this.
Mm,
And I wasn't quite ready to deal with it fully when she called me on it. So I made up more excuses. But when Dean brought it forth, it was like, oh, ooh, okay, yep. And I dealt with it. And so sometimes we really, really need that. And we
mhm.
can't do it just on our own. We need someone else that can help
Yeah.
guide us through that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. All right. And then our last takeaway is I love this question, is what has not taking action cost you so far? Basically, like who's
Yeah.
on, I always tell people too, like, who is on the other side waiting for you to arrive? I love that
Yes.
because this is the reason why. This is the reason why you should be pushing yourself to step into your purpose, to find that thing that you're good at, because
Yep.
even though you think, that might be kind of easy, for me, it might not be easy for somebody else. So what has not taking action cost you so far? So what are your
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
So I'm a numbers person. I'm a results and an outcomes person. And so I thought about this question, and this was a question that came up this weekend. They asked it, and I turned it into something more tangible.
Mm,
If you look at an example of, let's say there's something that you feel deep inside that you want to teach, or maybe it's writing a book, right? It's some kind of information that you want to give to people, but you have held off and you've had this dream inside. And let's say it's been 5 years that you've been contemplating this. And every time you think about it, you get a little bit started and then you get scared and you reel it back. What if each year you would have been impacting 100 people, just 100 people, with what you had to teach?
mhm.
Multiply that times five. That's 500
Gosh.
human beings that you deprived of the knowledge that you had to share. And you deprived yourself of fulfilling that dream that God placed in you in the first place because it's something you're
Mhm.
supposed to do.
Yeah.
When you turn it into that and you look
Yeah.
at numbers and outcomes like that, then it really, really makes things more tangible, right? I think
Totally.
about how I never thought that I would stand up in front of young adults and train. And I kept saying, this is not what I want to do. But I felt in my heart that that's what God was calling me to do for the past few years. I've trained well over 1,200 young adults, and some of them have had issues with depression. Some of them have had issues around, they've attempted to commit suicide. And they literally, some were in domestic violence situations, abusive relationships, and they literally changed because of things that I talked about. And I didn't necessarily know that that was going to happen. But what if, Natalie, I didn't answer that call?
Yeah.
What if I didn't show up? And then there are all of the people that have been impacted by something I've said, and I don't even know.
Right. Totally. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that are impacted by you and you don't know it.
Right. Right.
And you may never know it.
Mm-hmm.
So think about how your inaction, how it has resulted in you not serving and helping others. And what has that cost been?
Yeah. Wow, that's so, I mean, when you make it tangible like that with the numbers, because saying like, somebody's waiting for you on the other side or waiting to arrive, it is a great way of saying it. But at the same time, when you start putting numbers to that and then calculating that out, I mean, even I've always said, even if it's just one person that
Yep.
we impact with whatever we're doing, whether it's the book, whatever it is, and
Yes.
I love what you said too about what you're saying. I was in a mastermind that I was leading at this Odd Boss conference, and I don't know what I did. And I shared that with you, but all of a sudden I went into this mode, and all of a sudden I was like, spewing things off about like how this person could make their business better. And then I gathered all my stuff up after the mastermind and I walked out, and someone came up to me afterwards and they said, I have never seen anybody do what you just did for that person in their business. And I mean, I didn't even know what I did because I thought it was just me just being me. Right. And that's one of the traps that we fall into is I'm nothing great. I have nothing to
Yes.
teach because I'm just doing what I'm doing. Like, why would that be any impact towards anybody? But even somebody else that watches you, or like you said, you might not ever know what you're doing for somebody else just by something that you even say. It doesn't even have to be, somebody that's paying you for your services. It could just be something that you just happen to say in passing or in a quick connection. But yeah, but when you put the numbers to it, that really hits it to the core, and to look back at, I mean, this is time we're talking about, and there is no guarantee of how long you're going to be here, no guarantee on how long we're all going to be here. And when you put it that way too, it just makes it so much real of how urgent this feeling should be of it. We got to take action. Like we all have to even support each other and encourage each other to take action in whatever it is that we need to do. Because if I feel like the more that we can get on this movement, the faster that we're going to multiply what we all have to do. And I just love that.
Absolutely. And you think about how many people, since we've been on this journey with writing the book, how many people we've worked with and how many people we've stepped through the ACT, that framework, and they've received revelation about what they needed to do to move forward. And then they started taking action. It's almost like it freed them to start moving forward and taking action. Is it going to answer every single question for you? Absolutely not. But it will get you started. And then, as we bring more tools and resources to the table, it will begin to help you get the book written, get the business off the ground, figure out how to scale your business, because we've gone through those things as well. And when I think about people, let's say it's writing a book, there are so many people. I had the same question myself several years ago when I knew I wanted to write a book. I knew I was going to write books. Who's going to read what I write? I'm nobody. Well, that's not true. God didn't create us. And if God is not your thing, if the universe, whatever it is, your higher power is, mine is God. God didn't create me to be a nobody. He created me to be somebody in this world. And he created me to connect and to serve and to impact. And that's what we're beginning to feel, and that's what we're living in. And as we bring forth more, what I'm recognizing is it just brings more confidence. You were in a flow state, I would imagine, when you were doing that masterminding, and what is becoming natural to you now was coming out. But that, what, people look at where we are, but they don't see the journey. That's not where you were a few years ago.
No way.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that's what we're trying to remind people. There's a starting point. You have to start somewhere, and you have to start taking action. And with that action, you start to get momentum. And with the momentum, things start to happen then. And in that process, because it is a process, you begin to gain confidence, and you begin to recognize, wait a minute, this is my calling. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I'm good at doing. Let me go out and share it with the world. And that's what people need to hear. They need to be inspired to do that. But then on the other side of the inspiration, because inspiration falls short once you've left it, you've got to have the tools to be able to execute. Because it's that inspiration, it's the action that's going to lead you, and it's the tools that's going to lead you to results. And at the end of the day, it's the results that's going to make the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right, guys. So we are here every Sunday. How do you find us? We're here, number one, every Sunday on our page, Act Now Guide on Facebook. Also, it drops on YouTube and on our Instagram channel, IGTV. We load it there as well after. But live, we are here. We love going live. And the reason why we go live is so that we can talk to you. You know, when you're here, we love seeing you, Emily and Mary, and people that are commenting. You know, we love going live because we love to make sure that we can interact with you and engage with you. Is it perfect? Not always. We might have some glitches, but we want to do this. We want to be able to be there with you. So that's where you can find us every Sunday, 3:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, at 4:00 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Our book right now is available on Amazon by Kindle, Kindle Unlimited for free, and then also by paperback. Buy it, post a picture, tag us, write what you love or what you don't love too, or what you're struggling with or what you're learning or whatever it is that you want to share. Write about it in your post. Go back on Amazon, write a review for us so that we know, how people are experiencing this book. I always think that that's always fascinating because everybody is different. So don't forget to do that as well, as to grab that book and start reading it and let us know. And then we've got the Action Takers Network. It's not only about us, but we want to get you guys connected to each other every third Wednesday of the month. It is free. And these are the 3 dates. In the comments, we have the Eventbrite link so that you can sign up so that we can make our count. We're taking the first 30 people at every month. So get on there, sign up so that you can meet other action takers, and we can grow this movement together and learn from each other. It's not, again, Reg and I will be there facilitating, but it's not about us. I said in the mastermind groups that I was leading, it's not about me. I don't have all the answers. It's about how we all help each other and collaborate, because somebody might have something that somebody else can use. And so we want to make sure that we can facilitate those environments for all of you as well. So that's how you find us, you guys. But yeah, any last words, Reg, before we head out?
No, other than just start thinking about what is your why? What is that thing that is going to drive you? And what is it that you need to do? It's not optional. You need to do it, and start taking small steps toward that thing. And I promise you, when you get on the other side of it, you'll look and say, man, that wasn't that bad after all.
Awesome. All right. We'll see you guys later. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Next week on Act Now Live. All right. We'll see you. Bye.
Bye.